Now, for those that may have cognitive dissonance after my last couple videos, because you naturally would say to yourself, why is Donald Trump putting Elon Musk in this Doge committee? Well, because it exposes the podcasters. It does, because and Trump knew who these podcasters were. He knew who the mainstream media was. He knew they weren't going to do the right thing. I said years ago, it's like you have the mainstream media that's there to keep you in line, to keep you under control. Those are the experts you're to believe. So when they fall, do you think they don't have a backup system that's there to be the new net that grabs you? Well, that's all your podcasters. Because, and it's very simple here. So because I know that Donald Trump was doing something about eradicating trafficking, which was his most important, which was his number one agenda, but he knew nobody would talk about it except maybe the American people. Well, I was one of the American people because I took care of some of these victims. And I've gotten so many people saying to me, just because you saw victims coming in from trafficking during Trump's term doesn't mean he was behind it. No, it does, because I live in a rural area. The safe house wasn't there. Then it was there because I didn't see this before. This was regular. Then I read the executive order about how there were these transition homes to help them transition back to their families after being in years of being sold over and over again. Yet not one podcaster to this day, yet they have millions and millions of followers. How many does Patrick Bet-David have? 6? None of them. Not Joe Rogan, not Patrick Bet-David, not Glenn Beck, none of them. No conservative podcaster has made it a point to tell you how that was his number one goal. I mean, Patrick Bet-David isn't even on Truth. But all of them have, because Trump knew, put Musk into this Doge committee and then watch those podcasters. That's why. Because they'll fall too. Because those podcasters like your Glenn Beck, Patrick Bet-David, these people have researchers. So are their researchers that bad? No. But many of these people were in the mainstream media. You think Joe Rogan has millions of followers just because he's so great? He didn't once ask Trump during the 3 hours that he had Trump on his show about trafficking. None of them do. None of them do. No media did either, and Trump knew they wouldn't. So it would be up to the American people. So when those podcasters want to say we're the news now, yeah, you could just write them off to being just like the mainstream media. Because the people that are the news are the everyday Americans. We're the ones that are still being suppressed and shadow banned everywhere because of big tech, because of Silicon Valley. But this is why you have all, your Jeff Bezos and your Mark Zuckerberg, and you have all these CEOs all trying to chum up to Trump. He knows what they were up to. He knows. They think he's that stupid. No, he played this right. So even first of all, Elon Musk has been given a blue ribbon committee position. That's it. Okay. I've said for years now, when the backdraft of this comes, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, because I would have never had the patience that Trump has put up with. But the only way, because otherwise, if you don't take down the podcasters, or they fall on their own, and it wouldn't do any good for Trump to say anything. But none of those podcasters tell you about the things he posted about Musk or the things he posted about Kennedy. He said that RFK is the stupidest of all the Kennedys. He said that Elon Musk was just another bullshitter. He said that in a rally. But see, none of those podcasters follow any of Trump's posts. But it's not just them. Think of all the conservative ones that even Trump posts himself. But in the end, they fall because none of them focused, none of them wanted to highlight that Trump's number one goal was eradicating trafficking. Why do you think that was? I mean, Rogan said himself that he's been to one of the Eyes Wide Shut parties or the, those Hollywood parties, and he said he left early. Okay. Maybe he did. Sure he did. Because you're just supposed to assume that because they are upfront with you, then they couldn't possibly have been up to anything nefarious, and maybe they weren't. Who's to say? But they certainly, all those podcasters, were so relieved when Trump put Elon Musk in a position, and RFK Jr. And then who was RFK Jr. fossil hunting with? Epstein. Well, Epstein stayed in the car. But Ghislaine, but he calls her Glenn, was fossil hunting with him and his second wife. So, if Trump knew the podcasters would be the next in line to try to pull you into the net, that they're telling you the truth, he knew that they would have to fall too, and the only way would be actually the American people. And there's other people like me that we're the ones that are still suppressed. While Rogan and Glenn Beck and Patrick Bet-David continue to raise up Elon Musk, they bury themselves. They bury themselves. They bury themselves. Because they're the people that supposedly do research. And they have people right on their show that can do research. But not one of them has ever wanted to make a point of how much Trump was doing to eradicate trafficking. Oh, they may mention it here and there, but nothing like what he was really doing. And who they really all fall all over is Elon Musk. I mean, again, Patrick Bet-David went as far as to say that Elon Musk should be more protected than Donald Trump. What does that tell you about him? But he also is one that thinks that the rules should be changed and people that are non-citizens should be allowed to become president. So you see those truthers and I listen to them. I listen to them just because then I catch them. Because they have to be called out. They have to fall. They're part of they're part of the establishment problem. Why doesn't Mark Levin? Well, he's another one. Why doesn't he ever bring any of this up? Why isn't anybody on the Republican side or Democrat side telling you any of the things I'm telling you about Musk? What does it tell you about them? How many of them have been to any of these parties? I mean, it was a red flag that Democrats were supporting Musk anyway. Or the Doge Committee. It's like right there, it should tell you that it's... But Trump knew that's what would happen. So, I mean, he's a genius that way. I mean, it's not just that he puts them out there, although that gets on my nerves. But, I mean, if you think about it, that's what ends up causing a bunch of people to fall. Because you can't ever trust these podcasters because they miss the ball on so many things. If you want to just say, oh, they just didn't realize. Okay, there's so many things they didn't realize, so I'm not buying that. They never wanted to make it a point to talk about Trump eradicating trafficking. They didn't. That being his number one goal. They didn't follow his post close enough, or else they would have known how he felt about Kennedy and RFK and Musk. He said about Musk. He said when he was in the White House before, he said when Musk came to see me, if I had told him to get on his knees and beg, he would have. He doesn't have any respect for him. Yet everybody wants to show how they're good buddies now. Yeah, no, I don't think so. No. But the only way you would get to take down the podcasters, because who they all support is what I've watched over the years with them, even before Musk was put in the Doge Committee, is that they all leaned more towards RFK, okay? And then when Elon, then it was Elon's the free speech absolutist. No, he's not. He's the very one that is totally against freedom, and he's just trying to save his own damn ass. He is. In the end, the people that truly will save America, while the podcasters want to talk about how Elon and Vivek and the Doge Committee and all of them will, no, the people that will truly save it in the end is the American citizens that have been speaking up and saying the full truth. And we're the ones that are being suppressed and silenced on X.